This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin Freakin.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol, live! It's a freaking Sunday. I have no clue what that notification is. Did we just get a raid? Oh, that was Warlord. Resubbing. Thank you for the resub. Free the cat from human oppression. For those of you who don't know, my cat Smokey went and joined the Air Force and has been bombing civilians for the last 8 days. But he is deserted. And Smokey, who is like the mascot of this fucking show, is indeed back. You will see him. You will see video proof that he is in my possession. 8 days in extreme heat conditions, which is one of the things we're going to talk about tonight. Al Gore making the rounds on the Sunday morning shows. Going to tell us all about climate change, but also going to talk to us about the 2000 election, why it's different than Donald Trump's big lie. Going to discuss the January 6th committee. I thought about doing just an entire stream of animal videos just in celebration of Smokey being back. Sassy, Sparkles. Who all we got? RB. Love you guys. Gore 2020. He responds to that as well. He responds to that. He is asked about his prospects for 2024. I remember being hardcore behind Al Gore in 2008. I was like, the man deserves to have another run. The vet came down this morning, looked at him, said he is slightly dehydrated, but other than that, looks to be in good shape. So we think that one of the neighbors has been feeding him water. There's water because like this is animals all over the place around here. So there's water all around the house. They don't leave food out because of the other animals it attracts. But there is food from time to time in the bowl out there for the outdoor kitty. Bobcats are the bigger worry around here, and coyotes. Apparently coyotes really bad in this area. I had him on my lap, and he got down. He's actually eating right now, which, I mean, dude, like, you've been outside for fucking 8 days in a row. All he has done has been eat and then go back to sleep. Eat, drink some water, go back to sleep. That is all he has done. Oh, and then yell at me. If I go to the bathroom, he follows me in there and he yells at me. So he's getting him a drink of water right now, and once he gets settled down, I'll grab him. We'll get him on camera. Yeah, buddy, I'm so happy to have you back. But Maynard and Socks are acting really weird about it. Maynard and Socks are acting like they don't even know who he is. Some people call it parenting. I call it raisin cream pies. Oh no, sir, I assure you it is the exact same cat. This is definitely Smokey Bong. Hey, buddy, everybody missed you. It looks just like him. It's his personality. Everything about him. Everything about him. This is the same exact cat. You see up here where his fur is a little light around his eyes? He got really sunburnt. He got sunburnt where the fur is kind of light there. Poor little dude. Wrong cat, my ass. He is such a cute baby. He didn't look so cute. Fuck, what the fuck? Show you what he looked like last night. Let me show you what he looked like last night. He looked a little wild. Thought I already did this. So that was him in the cage. He was very not happy. Unfortunately for him, I fell asleep last night. I've been going out and checking the cage, you know, periodically every 15, 20 minutes or so. I fell asleep, so I don't know how long he was in there. It could have been longer than 2 hours. That's as long as I was asleep. So sometime between me falling asleep and 3:15 in the morning, I think. I put all the other cats up and brought him in the animal trap. And when I opened the door to let him out, he just went and ran. Not really ran, more of a jog. Eight fucking days, and in this heat too. But so I thought about just doing a celebration stream because of Smokey being back. But we got too much news to talk about. Too much shit went on. So we're still gonna cover some news, but it's gonna be a little more lighthearted show. Hopefully, not gonna be as heavy as we usually are. I even purposely left so like there was a cop that was shot in the face. Now, some of us might be happy about that, but you know, like she recovered. She's expected to make a full recovery. But like I left that one off because like we want to keep it a little light tonight. So we're gonna talk about the heat waves. We're gonna hear from Al Gore, and then this one I'm really looking forward to. We've got 10 minutes of Al Franken making fun of the outtakes that we saw of Donald Trump from the January 6th committee hearings. That's going to be awesome. My meow woke your cat up. Aww. Aw, 8 days. And here's the crazy part. The day I lost Smokey was his gotcha day. It had even popped up on my Facebook memories. I lost him on gotcha day. That's fucking sad. This was a picture of Smokey and Socks from 6 years ago. Popped up on my timeline just a few days ago. Yes, I've got a titty pillow behind him. I lost him on gotcha day. Raisin cream pies. You people and your loin fruit. I don't get it. My buddy was telling me about how his kid cried all night. Playing video games last night and his kid started crying. Cried himself out. He was asleep. I left him at like a little before midnight. Kid was asleep. Apparently, he woke up was a hellion. Learn to pull out, kids. Don't have other kids. Just saying. Before the end of the night, you're going to see the world's deadliest cat. I have video of the world's deadliest cat. We're going to talk some music tonight. Tom Morello was attacked at a Rage Against the Machine concert. Kidrock fans trashed a venue in North Dakota. Rapper Zuby was on Fox News. That should be fun. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene has stated that she wants the Republican Party to be a Christian nationalist party, that she is a Christian nationalist. Christian activist attacked PetSmart employees. Apparently, Dennis Prager isn't a Christian. I thought he was. So we're going to hear about why Dennis Prager isn't a Christian. That should be interesting. Mike Lindell says that he wasn't very interested in politics because he was on crack. A Rumspringer for Gotcha Day. He went on a Rumspringer for good. The problem is there's an outdoor cat, and we think the outdoor cat was kind of chasing him off. He was being territorial. And here's the weird thing is the outdoor cat loves to fight with everybody, but like he's scrawny. He itty bitty. He's so sweet too. I love that cat. I love all cats. If you've ever seen the video of the woman, it was like her dating profile on eHarmony or something. And she's like, if I could just hug all the cats in the world. That's me. If I could just love them all, adopt them all, I would. Probably don't have any room for any more cats, though. We got a lot of cats. Smokey went back over here and went to sleep. So I guess he's not interested in doing the news. He'll probably pop up and hang back out with us here in a little bit. So let's go ahead and get to it. My cat was outside for 8 days in record-breaking heat. Hundreds of temperature records were broken as heat wave scorches the U.S. The deadly heat wave set or tied 359 daily high temperature records over the last week, along with 709 records for the warmest overnight low temperature. Officials reported at least 2 heat-related deaths in the Northeast on Sunday and warned there were likely to be more. 90 million Americans were under heat warnings or advisories on Sunday. This is NBC News' reporting on that very topic.
From Dallas to New York City, tonight the nation's brutal heat wave won't let up. 90 million under heat alerts, with at least 21 states nearing record highs. Some areas feeling more like 110 degrees thanks to the heat index.
Don't let dehydration ruin your vacation. $1 water.
But the oppressive temps are shaking up weekend plans. Boston's triathlon postponed until mid-August, with a similar New York race shortened significantly.
Stay within my means. I have a lot of experience, and because I am a lot older than when I first started doing this stuff.
Sadly,
well, good on you, dude.
Heat wave proving too much for some. Tonight, the death toll climbing to 3, with word a Louisiana police officer died last Saturday, according to his department. Bracing for triple digits in Philadelphia.
So it's not all bad news.
And fun.
How much do you love this pool on a day like today?
Oh my goodness, if this pool was closed, I had no other plans for these two because this was all we was looking forward to.
The city says more than a fifth of its pools, however, are still closed because of lifeguard shortages.
We looked at
I thought they were going to say a fifth of their pools were urine.
So right now, everyone within a mile of one that's open.
Correct. The reason Kelly Pool is a great pool to open is not only does it serve primarily an underserved community, but also it's huge.
Thank you. 9. Thank you.
What number are we?
140.
Oh! But with so many looking for relief from this heat, this pool day comes with a wait and a time limit.
It's super hot right now in the city, and we're all just trying to have an awesome pool day.
Didn't seem like an awesome pool day. Crowded, and there's a time limit, and there's a line to get in. Oof. But I mean, at least they're not out on the West Coast where wildfires are spreading like
Well, state of emergency
wildfires.
in effect due to the Oak Fire burning near Yosemite. Cal Fire says
Honestly, Core, they should have fucking masks on. We are, like, most Americans live in an area where there is high transmission right now. You should indeed be wearing a mask. I know they were outdoors, but we are dealing with the most contagious variant yet. They should indeed be wearing masks in public settings. Now, it's a little hard when you're at the pool and everything, but still.
acres with evacuation orders in effect across the region. Reporter Leanne Denyer is in Mariposa County with the support being offered to those that have been forced out of their homes.
As the Oak Fire burns in Mariposa County, evacuation orders remain in place.
Also, I didn't put it on the list for tonight, but once we're talking about being in close contact with people during a pandemic, monkeypox. We have the first 2 reported cases of monkeypox in children. It's only going to get worse. And I saw somebody on Twitter say that when school starts back and children start testing positive for monkeypox a lot because they're in close contact with each other, and these nut jobs that have been attacking school boards start talking about like the stigma that it is a sexually transmitted disease because it's predominantly spread among gay men thus far. That's why I've been upset about the coverage. And polio. We have the first reported case of polio in the United States in 50 years? Jesus. I'm worried about them creating another gay panic about teachers, forcing yet more good teachers out of the profession, creating more fucking outrage. God, this fall is going to be a shit show. And, it's still going to be scorching fucking hot. We're going to be seeing these temperatures for months to come.
Fire forced Linda Reynolds Brown and her husband out of their home.
We just don't know anything. We don't know anything.
This is the first fire evacuation for the couple. They say they moved to the area about 1.5 years ago and had just done a fire preparedness training with their neighborhood.
And we started to get that stuff together. That's when I went up the hill and looked. And I'm like, oh my God, it was coming fast.
They snapped these photos of their home before they say they knew they had to go.
I've already seen them having a field day with it, Core.
We were getting ashes on us, but we had such a visual of this billowing that it just seemed like it was above our house and coming our way really quickly.
This is Mariposa Elementary School on Jones Street in Mariposa. It's one of the evacuation centers being used for families being impacted by this fire. The Red Cross tells us they were able to get this center up and running within an hour of the fire starting on Friday.
It's a really chaotic time, but Red Cross is providing a sense of calm.
The fire started near Mid Pines. CAL FIRE says the explosive fire behavior has been challenging for fire crews. The cause
we got months. We got months of wildfires to come.
Especially through these mandatory evacuations.
The Red Cross shelter.
This is going to go into October, maybe even November.
And they have care for families with pets. The couple grateful their family is able to evacuate together.
All's good, we're all together.
As their community waits to see the extent of the damage by this fast-moving Oak Fire. As of Saturday night, CAL FIRE says that this fire has burned more than 11,000 acres. Reporting in Mariposa County, I'm Leanne Denyer.
Oh, goddamn. If only somebody had tried to warn us. If only somebody had made a very concise movie detailing exactly what we were facing. Here's Al Gore this morning making the rounds on the Sunday shows. He's going to talk to us about the dangers of global man-bear pig.
Rising CO2 levels in his documentary An Inconvenient Truth, which debuted over 16 years ago. The film was credited with raising global awareness about the dangers of climate change, and the years since have seen increasing extreme weather patterns. This week brought another round of record-breaking heat and triple-digit temperatures across the United States and Europe as wildfires rage, and London reached the hottest temperature ever recorded, 104 degrees in London.
Never broke triple digits.
President Gore, thank you for being here with me.
Thank you for inviting me, Jonathan.
So I want to ask you, obviously there's a difference between weather and climate, but how much of this extreme weather that we've been seeing do you think is effectively here to stay, is as a result of climate change?
Well, the scientists have predicted these extraordinary and catastrophic events for going on decades now. And the fact that they were dead right, maybe a little conservative even in their projections, should cause us to pay more careful attention to what they're warning us about now, Jonathan. They're saying that if we don't stop using our atmosphere as an open sewer And if we don't stop these heat-trapping emissions, things are going to get a lot worse. More people will be killed, and the survival of our civilization is at stake. You know, if you'll permit me, Jonathan, behind me you see a picture from the
Warlord, I put that on the list for the Freak Show on Friday. A chess robot broke its human opponent's finger. Quit trying to derail me, Warlord. Yeah, that story's wild. A chess robot broke its human opponent's finger. I was going to talk with Sparkles about that.
the International Space Station that shows how thin the atmosphere is.
Guy comment. Core, RB.
Every day, using it as
Sparkles, Warlord, Ida, love all of you.
Now traps as much extra heat as would be released by 600,000 Hiroshima-class atomic bombs. That's why the heat records are being broken all the time now. That's why the storms are stronger, why the ice is melting and the sea level is rising, and why the droughts and fires are hitting us so hard, and so many other consequences. And they're predicting now up to 1 billion climate refugees crossing international borders in this century. We have got to act.
This is much of what you talked about for years, but certainly in an Inconvenient Truth. And we've heard from President Biden. He's called climate change an emergency. He's called it a clear and...
He ain't gonna do shit about it, though.
He has stopped short from declaring a national emergency. What is your sense? Is it time for the president to declare that climate change is a national emergency?
Well, Mother Nature has already declared it a global emergency, and I'll leave it to others to parse the pros and cons of what an emergency declaration would lead to. But there are other things he can do right now. The EPA can take action to further limit emissions from power plants and from tailpipes, and the Supreme Court decision did not take all their power away. We could stop allowing oil...
Jizz face! Thank you for being a freaking follower. But just judging by your screen name...
You live in sexual anarchy?
Guy comment, this is former Vice President Al Gore. He was Clinton's vice president, led the way on climate change in the early 2000s after winning the presidency, but not getting to assume the presidency in the year 2000.
He could appoint a new head of the World Bank instead of the climate denier that leads it now, appointed by his predecessor.
But he's also facing a challenge here. Really, the frontline issue.
He got old.
Is rising gas prices. Part of it.
We're all getting old.
And he's gone. He's encouraged the Saudis.
I didn't. No. Core. I did not kink shame. I did not kink shame at all. I didn't make a value judgment about whether it was a good thing or a bad thing that people might live in sexual anarchy.
You live in sexual anarchy?
Charlie Kirk might be making a value judgment about people who live in sexual anarchy. I am not. Because I am sure that many people would consider my lifestyle to be sexual anarchy. I am not a key. Stop trying to find reasons to cancel me. How am I supposed to get bigger on the Twitches and the YouTubes when my own fans are starting cancel Justin movements? I'm just saying.
Talked about expanding domestic.
I need to make that shirt.
Getting more offshore oil drilling in the United States. I mean, you understand why he's doing this. They're desperate to get gas prices down, but isn't this counterproductive in terms of the climate agenda?
Well, we need to avoid confusing the short term with the long term. That's different from investing billions in new fossil fuel infrastructure and new oil and gas drilling that would not do anything to help the current prices or to help gasoline prices for that matter, but would guarantee increased emissions in the years ahead. You know, the International Energy Agency has said that we should have zero new drilling for oil and gas reserves. We've already got enough to incinerate the planet. We're seeing this global emergency play out, and it's getting worse more quickly than was predicted.
It is accelerating.
This should be a moment for a global epiphany, and the voters and the publics in countries around the world need to put a lot more pressure on.
Somebody start a poll in the chat. Do you guys think that we are headed for doomsday, or do you think that we have the resources to fight back against global climate change? I think a lot of you have given up. I'm just wanting to get a feel for what's going on. Oh my God, fucking the United States and Canada have both dropped the ball on high-speed rail in a big way. There's a meme going around that like circles like the Northeast, you know, Boston, Philadelphia, New York City, blah. It's like any flight from this area, from like DC up to New York, is just a travesty. Yeah, we're most likely fucked.
On their political leaders. Don't forget the fact that all 50 of the Republican senators have been against doing anything on climate, even though...
But that doesn't mean we shouldn't try, though, right?
People want it.
Before you go, I'm sure you heard your name invoked in the latest January 6th committee hearing. Matt Pottinger talking about your speech conceding the 2000 election as really a model of how American democracy is supposed to work. What has your reaction been watching these hearings, and what kind of an impact do you think they're going to have?
Well, I would like to say that Benny Thompson and Liz Cheney and every single member of that committee have performed an amazing service to our democracy. I think these hearings have been the most persuasive and effective since the Watergate hearings so long ago. And I think we're seeing a huge impact on public opinion in our country, too. They've done an incredible job.
Did you ever, in the time since that speech that you gave, conceding an election, I don't need to remind you, you won the popular vote. You were within a few hundred votes in Florida. You were challenging, pushing for recounts. When it was over, you can...
No. He won Florida. Let's get that straight. Al Gore won the election. Al Gore won. The recount would have showed that Al Gore won. The Supreme Court stopped the count and declared that Bush was the winner.
Conceded, and then you presided over George W. Bush's electoral certification, the certification of his victory. Watching what you saw unfold, did you think back to that?
Well, of course, but all I did is what Winston Churchill once said about the American people. The American people generally do the right thing after first exhausting everything.
Were you there at the Brooks Brothers riot, Sparkles?
Really all I did.
With Roger Stone?
Required what I did, and there's nothing really extraordinary about it. Was it personally difficult? Well, you know, the country and the traditions and honor of our democracy are at stake. It's not really a difficult choice.
All right. Vice President Gore, it's great to talk to you again. Thank you for joining us on This Week.
Churchill was indeed a monster. Oh man, maybe this is not the one where they asked him about 2024. But for those of you, because like he was on another morning show, but I took the one that was longer. But someone, I believe it was NBC, asked him about a 2024 run, and his remark was that he is a recovering politician. So I would assume that is ruling it out. January 6th panel will weigh subpoenaing Ginni Thomas if needed. This is according to Representative Liz Cheney. She pledged that the committee would also get to the bottom of the erased Secret Service text messages from January 5th and 6th. Speaking on CNN's State of the Union, we're going to see Cheney on Fox. See, once again, she was making the rounds on the morning shows this morning. So that's why I didn't want to play this video. She said the committee is fully prepared to contemplate a subpoena if she does not. I hope it doesn't get to that. I hope she will come in voluntarily. We've certainly spoken with numbers of people who are similarly situated in terms of the discussions that she was having that you've mentioned. It also talked about getting to the bottom of the Secret Service. The Secret Service has hired private counsel, apparently one of which is in the Trump orbit.
Any individual in the agency could overlook the historical, even the personal significance of those text messages.
Right, and so it shines a bigger spotlight, I guess, on those missing text messages when, the Trump White House, the Trump National Security Council, and the Secret Service agents themselves all knew the magnitude of what was happening. I mean, in that same radio chatter, of course, the Secret Service agents were saying, goodbye to their loved ones because they thought they might not make it out of the Capitol alive. And yet, we have this situation where 11 days after that took place, or 10 days after that took place, Congress requested their communications, and 11 days later, they were all erased. And so I think you can see this as a bit of a pattern, all the erased text messages, all of the missing White House phone logs. Everyone knew that January 6th was bad, which makes me think of the missing evidence in a new light.
Yeah, Barb, DHS has asked the Secret Service to stop its own internal investigation into the missing texts. Why is that necessary? What does that tell you?
Investigation? Were they shredding papers?
The Inspector General is now conducting a criminal investigation. I think what he's indicating is he doesn't want anything to interfere with that. That somebody was looking into it and accidentally destroyed evidence, or that people are taking statements from someone. And,
accidentally.
They take one in which they contradict themselves. So I think he wants everybody to stand down, get out of my way, because this has just gotten very serious. I'm going to investigate this, and I don't want anything to distract from the mission that I'm doing, which is criminal in nature, by far the more serious. Sometimes when you're in an agency, there are all kinds of investigations just to, do after-action reports when there's a mistake so that it doesn't happen again, that sort of thing, administrative things. And here, I think he's making it clear.
The Secret Service is guilty as fuck. I don't know, and nobody knows this at this point in time, if it's the whole fucking agency. I feel like Biden should have done a lot of cleaning house when he came to office. But definitely at least a handful of agents are Trump loyalists and tried to help him carry out a coup. And that should scare the fuck out of everybody. But I mean, just the fact that the agency itself seems to be it's the whole thing. The whole thing is corrupt. But just to give you some idea, Dan Bongino used to be a Secret Service agent.
Hugo, what can you share about the 3 Secret Service members who we have learned have retained their own attorneys?
Yeah, I think this is really significant, right? I mean, we learned that the driver in the presidential vehicle on January 6th, the dispatch is reporting, has hired Zach Terwilliger as his attorney. I mean, Zach Terwilliger, of course, is the son of George Terwilliger, who is representing Mark Meadows, the former White House chief of staff. So I think that's a really interesting connection. But the fact that these Secret Service agents are now retaining private counsel, I think, shows they now know the magnitude and the seriousness of this kind of criminal investigation being conducted by the Office of the Inspector General over at DHS. I mean, this is not a step you would take lightly. But what's interesting from the Select Committee side is they think that Secret Service agents would not have retained private counsel if they had thought they had done nothing wrong. I mean, it might be a prudent move anyway to retain private counsel when you're under a criminal investigation, but it sounds like those retainers happened before the announcement of the criminal investigation, which makes the Select Committee very suspicious about what was going on, with the message deletions and their motives and their intent to cooperate.
We should never, ever, ever shame anyone for retaining counsel. That's not cool. That's not cool.
With the committee going forward.
Dude kind of rubbed me the wrong way with that. Someone who will not rub you the wrong way unless you're on like a USO tour with him is Al Franken, who, goddamn, I wish was still in the Senate.
He says it'll spend the next month interviewing new witnesses with a promise to reappear in September. The first round of public hearings wrapped up with stunning testimony about a president holed up in the White House dining room, TV room for more than 3 hours.
What if the attorney was paid for by a Trump PAC? I wouldn't.
According to witnesses, Trump
don't pay for anything.
The Pentagon or even to check on his own vice president.
So probably not.
Leaving the West Wing that night after the deadly attack, quote, Mike Pence let me down. The committee also showed outtakes from the speech Trump delivered the day after January 6th, refusing to acknowledge his defeat.
But this election is now over. Congress has certified the results. I don't want to say the election's over. I just want to say Congress has certified the results without saying the election's over, okay? I would like to begin by addressing the heinous attack yesterday. Yesterday is a hard word for me. My only goal was to ensure...
And guys, I would just like to point out, since he brought it up, I would just like to point out that he still doesn't think that election is over. We'll do this story real fast and come back to this, where Al Franken makes fun of him. The Wisconsin Republican House Speaker says Donald Trump called him earlier this month. This is published yesterday, 2022. Trump called him earlier this month, urging the state to overturn the 2020 election.
Urging him to take back earlier this
Come
month.
On, man.
It's July.
Get a life.
To take back Wisconsin's electoral college votes for President Biden. Take a listen.
When's the last time you talked to the former president, President Trump?
Within the last week.
Within the last week?
Yeah.
Before or after he tweeted about you?
Before.
And what was that conversation like?
It's one of those that it's very consistent. He makes his case, which I respect. He would like us to do something different in Wisconsin. I explained that it's not allowed under the Constitution. He has a different opinion, then he put the tweet out. So that's it.
Oh, my God.
My God.
Oh, my God. I explained that it's not allowed under the Constitution.
I'm just saying, guys. I'm just saying. He still doesn't think the 2020 election is over.
The integrity of the vote. My only goal was to ensure the integrity of the vote.
CNN is told it took about an hour to record that 3-minute video. And joining me now, former Democratic Senator from Minnesota and host of the Al Franken podcast, Al Franken. Senator, I guess you have a lot of thoughts on all of these subjects we just tackled over the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But I guess what did you think when you saw these outtakes from January 7th? I just thought that was fascinating, a sort of window into a troubled president's mind.
I think he was depressed and troubled that day, and rightfully so. He's just a terrible person. We learn that through these hearings. It's interesting. I think these hearings they've just exceeded all my expectations, but nothing has shocked me. Nothing about this has shocked me. The footage right outside the Senate chamber, I know that geography, and it's chilling. And the testimony that you showed there that people were calling home to maybe have to say goodbye. All of that is chilling. This guy needs to be prosecuted. There's no doubt about that. I felt from the very beginning, from his call to Raffensperger. That's on tape, him saying 11,780 votes. You got to find that, and if you don't, you're in trouble. That to me, but everything... Yeah. Everything we've seen just solidifies this, and especially this last. So Garland has to go after him.
Well, I was going to say, what does it say about our system of justice in this country if Merrick Garland does not move forward with some kind of criminal investigation, or I suppose there might be one underway, but without a prosecution?
Well, get your fruit and your alcohol ready because I've got Trump video coming at you soon. We have both Trump rally and Trump at the TPUSA event coming up shortly.
I think it would be this is maybe the worst crime that a president can commit, which is it was a conspiracy to overturn an election. That's what our democracy is supposed to be about. That's what the Constitution is about. That's what our country is about. This is the worst thing you can do. And I'm pretty confident now that Merrick Garland will prosecute him. The only thing worse than prosecuting him is not prosecuting him.
And, you know, Al, the committee noted the infamous moment when Republican Senator Josh Hawley serves in the body you once served in, raised his fist in solidarity with the protesters. They followed that by playing video of Hawley running through the building as the insurrectionists advanced. And that moment literally brought laughter to the room. In terms of how Hawley reacted, he tweeted out a link to a coffee mug that you can buy with his fist pump picture.
Wow.
Show me strong. I guess they don't have a mug available where he's running through the halls of Congress. What's been your reaction to all this, Al?
I'd like to copyright the mug of him running through Congress. First of all, how dare he do that? The testimony was that a Capitol officer, a woman, said that riled the crowd. It's unconscionable that he linked to that.
I mean, the crowd was already riled.
Video. You're right. They didn't carry the laugh on the feed, which is too bad, but it got a laugh in the room, is what I heard.
Oh yeah, like I've seen the video. It's hilarious.
New meaning to, hauling ass, I guess.
I think so. And you know what it's like to get a good laugh in the room, and that certainly got one.
It did. I would suggest showing that as often as you can on CNN. It's a great moment.
We'll see if we can find the tape. And Senator, we have no indication that President Biden is not running for re-election. I want to ask you about the 2024 campaign. I know it's a ways off, but California Governor Gavin Newsom seems to be positioning himself for a run, potentially. First, he bought airtime in Florida to go after Ron DeSantis, taking off full-page ads, going after Greg Abbott in Texas on guns and abortion. I guess, what would you like to see? Would you like to see President Biden running for re-election? If I could put you on the spot, do you think it would be good to have some other candidates in there showing interest at this point, as Gavin Newsom appears to be doing? What are your thoughts? Do you see any
hauling ass?
Disagree with the notion that
hauling ass? Scott Common says.
What do you think?
The president says he's running for re-election. I think it's not. I think indulging in these parlor games is counterproductive. We have midterms coming up that are unbelievably important. We have to hold the Senate and hopefully add at least 2 seats to it. I believe we can do that. We have to hold the House. And that's the only way we're going to do things like.
That's the more difficult task. But it's possible. For those of you who don't know, in the last 2 months, the polling has completely flipped. Like it was generic Republican was up 3 or 4 points on a ballot. Generic Republican, right? The Republicans have some shitty ass candidates. So that's one of the ways that Democrats are lucking out. But now the polling is flipped to where it's plus 3 or 4 generic Democrat on the ballot for this fall. So it all just it depends on the way turnout is. Is there a high profile Senate race in the state where, Democrats need to hold a couple of House seats? Yesterday. It's a Beatles song, if I'm not mistaken.
Doing stuff on climate that we absolutely need to do. Look how just scorching hot it is around the world. We have to get stuff done. we need to elect Democrats to the Senate, to the House, governors.
And we need to elect better Democrats, and we need to get younger people in places
They're going
of higher office, on local level.
This is an extremely important period of time between now and the midterms. I don't think we should be engaging in this kind of parlor games, because it's maybe fun to do, but it's not fun. It doesn't get anything done.
And do you think it's a good idea for the Democratic Party to be going out there, or Democratic aligned groups to be going out there and pumping up the more far-right candidates in some of these Republican primary races that we've seen across the country? We've seen some Democrats say that's a bad idea.
I think it's a bad idea. I don't like that. First of all, it's just feeding more right-wing propaganda out there.
Yep.
I don't think we should be doing that. I understand the tactic. You think you get a right-wing nut that you can beat. I understand that. That's politics, I guess, but I'm not in favor of that.
And, the last time you were on, you said that your family would heavily factor into your decision on whether you would run again. And I know that it's something that you're looking at, something you've thought about.
Ooh, yes, please.
This week, New York Times columnist Michelle Goldberg wrote a piece entitled, "I Was Wrong About Al Franken." I guess there are a lot of folks who might say they were wrong about Al Franken. But in this column, she expressed remorse for calling on you to resign at that time without a Senate investigation into the allegations you were facing at that time. Back then, she thought Democrats shouldn't go through the ordeal of having to defend you. Now she says you deserve due process. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I appreciate her doing that. It's hard to admit you're wrong. You've been wrong. And so I appreciate that. And she came down, as you said, that I should have due process. And that's all I was asking for at the time. And I was denied it. So I appreciate her doing that.
And I think he should have stood his ground, never resigned.
Run again. Any indication that you can give us as to which way you're leaning at this point?
Please, Al, please.
Well, I certainly am not contemplating that at all. And
oh, shit.
I'm really focused on these midterms, and I have a PAC, Midwest Values PAC. If any of your listeners would like to look it up and give to it, I'd give to, just giving to Shapiro in Pennsylvania, so we can win that one. We need to, and all over the place. So I'm really focused on that.
It was giving me hope that Al Franken may be looking into running again. Liz Cheney was on Fox, whatever their fucking Sunday show is called. She's talking about January 6th. I think she even addresses her election.
What will the committee's report have to say about why the assets like National Guard weren't prepped and ready? Is there a testimony already gathered on Speaker Pelosi's decisions or the Sergeant of Arms in the House and Senate on that regard?
Yeah, we have an entire team. We've got 5 different teams in the investigation. One of them is totally focused on all of those issues of security at the Capitol and the response of the Capitol Police, the response of the National Guard, the response of the Capitol Police Board, what was going on at the Pentagon that day. So it's an entire focus of the investigation. You will see in our report, you will likely see in upcoming hearings. And so it's certainly something that we're going to be very focused on. But what we aren't going to do, Brett, is blame the Capitol Police, blame those in law enforcement for...
I don't know. There are some Capitol Police that deserve blame.
...to the Capitol.
Okay.
I think clearly there were intelligence failures. Clearly the security should have operated better than it did. But this was a mob Donald Trump sent to the Capitol, and I think that's important to keep our eye.
Mandy, I can understand, like, in this moment she has been pretty spot on, but the rest of her career she has not been spot on, and she even go look up her tweet on Roe v. Wade so you can get pissed off about her. and not low-key have a crush on her anymore, because she's still a shit-ass Republican. She's still the daughter of Dick Cheney. I mean, like, she's not a bad-looking lady. Like, I would swipe right if I saw her on Tinder. I totally would. So, like, hey, I get it. She has nice hair. Fair enough.
There are several witnesses who say they met.
I ran somebody off by saying I would swipe right on Liz Cheney
with President Trump on January 4th, and he offered some 20,000 National Guardsmen to protect the Capitol building on January 6th, but the offer was rejected. Is that true? Do you know that to be true?
Well, his own acting Secretary of Defense says that's not true. Chris Miller has testified publicly that Donald Trump never issued any order to deploy the Guard to protect the Capitol. And so I would point people to his own Secretary of Defense's public testimony. And we also know that on January 6th, while the attack was underway, Donald Trump did not place a single phone call to anyone at the Pentagon. He didn't place a single phone call to anyone at the Justice Department to say deploy.
Your TV is weird. Your TV does weird shit. I don't know. I don't know what is up. Maybe it's possessed. Okay, maybe it doesn't. Maybe she doesn't talk about her election. I'm sorry. I didn't get the full interview with Brett Baer just because it was like 16 minutes long. So I was like, we don't want to watch that whole fucking thing. But we do want to watch about Steve Bannon, who got convicted on Friday.
Was defiant and unapologetic Friday after he was found guilty on 2 counts of contempt of Congress. The former White House chief strategist vowed to appeal the verdict and declared his continued allegiance to his old boss. Bannon also told conservative TV host Tucker Carlson that he's not afraid to go to jail. Listen to this.
I will never back off. I support Trump and the Constitution, and I'm not backing off 1 inch. If I go to jail, so be it.
Bannon was
good
last November after failing to comply with the subpoena from the House committee investigating the January 6th insurrection. CNN political correspondent Sarah Murray has more.
Longtime Donald Trump ally Steve Bannon found guilty on 2 counts of criminal contempt of Congress.
Am I the only one that thinks this guy kind of looks like Alec Baldwin right here? What's going on with that? What the fuck?
Found guilty on 2 counts of criminal contempt of Congress.
We may have lost a battle here today, but we're not going to lose this war.
Bannon, who smirked as the verdict was handed down, faces at least 30 days behind bars.
And also, I didn't notice it. Vice, I believe, were the ones who did a piece on this. He wore 3 shirts under a jacket in 90-something degree weather in Washington, D.C., in a swamp. D.C.'s a swamp. He has 1, 2, 3 shirts. He has 2 button-up shirts and then another undershirt under a jacket. Not that there's anything wrong with that, particularly. It's kind of odd. Maybe the man has low iron. Is that what, you got an iron deficiency and you don't properly heat it? Seriously. Is that what happens when you've got no soul and you've got an ice cold fucking frozen heart? That's wild. That's wild. And like it may be hard to see because it's all black, everything is black, but there are indeed 2 fucking shirts right there. It's just it's insane.
30 days behind bars after a jury rejected his defense that the dates of his subpoena weren't set in stone. The conviction is a major boost for the House Select Committee investigating January 6th, reaffirming its subpoena power as it continues its quest for more information and additional witnesses. Bannon refused to comply with the committee's subpoena for information about his contact with Trump and comments like this one ahead of the Capitol riot.
All hell is going to break loose tomorrow.
Prosecutor Molly Gaston boiling it down in her closing argument. Bannon didn't show up. He has contempt for our system of government, and he does not think he needs to play by its rules. She compared his offense to snubbing a parking ticket, a sorely relevant analogy for a Washington, D.C. jury, and said
it doesn't look like he has body armor on.
To Donald Trump over compliance to the law.
I stand with Trump and the Constitution, and I will never back off that, ever.
As for Bannon's last gasp offer to testify publicly before the committee,
Give me a date, a time, a room number, a microphone, and a holy Bible that I can take the oath on. Boom.
prosecutor Amanda Vaughn called him out, saying he and his friend, former President Donald Trump, suddenly decide he's going to comply? Give me a break. Bannon is not above the law. He is not the decider of the law. He is guilty, she said. While Bannon promised a fiery case,
this is going to be the misdemeanor from hell.
The defense rested without calling a single witness. In a choppy closing argument, Bannon attorney Evan Corcoran was interrupted by objection after objection, highlighting the limited defenses the court allowed Bannon to present. Ultimately, Corcoran claimed there was no magic to Bannon's subpoena date. In a final bid to inject politics into the case, Corcoran said the powerful try to silence the opposition. Politics can play no role, he argued. It's important that we are all in this together, and Steve Bannon is innocent. The jury did quiet, deliberating less than 3 hours, but Bannon's team already plotting their appeal.
This is a bulletproof appeal.
Now, whether Steve Bannon's appeal is actually bulletproof remains to be seen, but until then, we know he has a sentencing date set for
Spoiler alert, it's not. When's the sentencing date?
late October. Sarah Murray.
Late October. No, why is it not just like a couple weeks from now? Why is it late October? I was thinking like August 15th, August 17th, some shit like that, around that time period. Why is it late October before this motherfucker gets to go to jail? Trump held a rally over the weekend in Arizona, I believe it was. I'm not exactly sure. See if the info. Trump rally this weekend. Doesn't say where it was. But Mike Lindell says why he didn't get into politics sooner. He gives us a fantastic reason here.
You know, in politics and over, the last 10, 20, 30 years, no one cared. No one paid attention. No one was looking at what they were doing.
I certainly didn't. I was on crack.
Right. Well, but
that's a good excuse. I can't really use that excuse myself, but
You know, in politics and over, the last 10, 20, 30 years, no one cared. No one paid attention. No one was looking at what they were doing.
I certainly didn't. I was on crack.
Right. Well, but
that's a good excuse.
What's the vote? Should I have Mike Lindell pop onto the screen with his fucking hugging his pillow and say like, I'm on crack? You guys want a Mike Lindell graphic?
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
I'm on crack. I was on crack. That's what it was. I used to do crack. I still do, but I used to too. At that rally, Trump said that if he was just to stop running for office, all the persecution would stop.
Announced my beliefs. And if I agreed to stay silent, and if I stayed home and took it easy, if I announced that I was not going to run any longer for political office, the persecution of Donald Trump would immediately stop. You know that, right? Immediately stop. They would go on to the next victim.
No, sir.
That's not what I do. I can't do that. I can't do that. If I
Here's the thing, is actually the opposite. I believe that you want to run for office, and try to win the presidency because I think that's what you think will shield you from any kind of legal liability. Is actually the opposite. So here we go. This was Trump Saturday at the TPUSA rally. I would have carried this live, but I committed to making chicken parmesan for the housemates. And I did, and I knocked it out of the park. This was Donald Trump and his WWE style entrance. Everybody got entrances. You can go and see Marjorie Taylor Greene. You can see Ted Cruz making these big elaborate entrances. Let me tell you, this stage, this setup, this is quite the expensive fucking presentation. That lighting rig they've got over there, there is a lot of fucking money in the right wing. Holy shit.
Let's go. And I fight harder for you than any president has ever fought. We will win again. We will win. You're fired. You're fired. The most loyal people are Trump supporters. Because they like it when people actually stand for the American flag. I think I'd be a really good president. Because you'd be in jail. In the meantime, I'm president and you're not. Let's go. And I fight harder for you than any president has ever fought. That I can tell you. We're going to make America great again. I love you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 45th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump!
Lee Greenwood, get me popped for copyright, god damn it. Those of you listening to the audio, like he has fireworks going off. More fireworks than WWE uses. I thought he had a gas can. He's going to light something on fire. But instead he had hats he's throwing out to the crowd. Completely fucking bonkers. I hope the world survives so that they've got the video and they can study this in schools. In schools decades from now. They had the honest to God rise of a fascist dictator. It had complete video archives of it.
The results are worse than anyone could ever have even imagined. In just 2 short years, our country has gone from the strongest it has ever been, and perhaps...
What?
It was just, I don't think it was ever like it was 2 years ago. We were so strong.
2 years ago was July of 2020, guys. I don't think we were strong in any way. And also, I think I've lost my lighter. That. How the fuck do I lose my lighter? Are you laying on it, Smokey? I've got a Smokey on my lap. Oh, even hockey games aren't that bad. Fucking, I mean, I've been to fucking concerts that didn't have that elaborate of a stage show.
It's so powerful, so respected all over the world, and it's been very sad to watch. The results are worse than anyone.
Yeah, we were respected all over the world when you were president. Bullshit.
We created the best, safest, and most secure border in U.S. history. We built hundreds of miles of border wall. In fact,
he didn't know.
We finished our original wall plan despite 2.5 years of Democrat-inspired lawsuits, and I won all of the lawsuits, 11 of them we won. Created the best, safest, and most secure border in U.S. history.
How many election lawsuits did you win, sir?
Bad because I did that by the fake news media, which is right back there. So there's a lot of them. I got a lot of Bad stories because I did that by the fake news media, which is right back there.
Yeah, I'm playing you the hits from the TPUSA. Trump goads his TPUSA audience into booing the assembled media, which is a bit of a cell phone since the only media outlets paying attention to his speeches these days are the furthest right of the furthest right, Aaron Rupert writes.
It's two big 747s, so they were ordered. But we're on the plane flying over, and we're about an hour away from the big airfield that we're landing in Iraq. And I get a call, and then some military people came in to see me. You know, this is like a large home, Air Force One, very big, a lot of people on the plane, most talented people you've ever seen, including the pilots, the most incredible people. Sir, would you please do us a favor? We'd like to close all of your windows. I say, why? We don't want any light on the plane. I said, why is that? Because we don't want the enemy to see us. Think of it. We've been there for 20 years, and we can't fly an airplane into the country. I said, that's pretty sad. So they closed down all of the shades. Everything was absolutely dark. Then they say, sir, we're going to be turning off the lights in the plane. I said, what do you have to do that? We just closed all the shades and the windows. What do you have to do? Sir, we got to be dark. We don't want to get any light up there. I said, that's not good. But I love sitting with pilots, especially talented ones.
What it is they're trying to protect you dumbass. Because if they've got some sort of thermal imaging, some sort of way that they can see the shadows inside of the plane, you have a very noticeable fucking head. They'd be able to tell exactly where you're at in the plane. They were trying to minimize your exposure in the plane, you stupid fuck.
And the most talented pilots in the world are the ones that fly Air Force One. And if you look at these guys, they're like central casting. They look like
They're the most talented people in the world, but yet you're not going to listen to what they have to say.
Pay, and if we're attacked by Russia, was for the Soviet Union, but Russia. And if we're attacked by Russia, we didn't pay. That you will not come to our defense? I said, that's right. I will not come to your defense. I will not come.
I mean, that's not the first time the women in the audience have heard, I will not come.
They were all delinquent. They weren't paying. He said,
what am I talking about? There's no women in the audience.
Did much better the second time than I did the first. Getting millions and millions more votes than we did in 2016, and likewise getting more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country by far. And now we may just have to do it again.
Unfortunately, it's like good for me. It's gonna be good content. It's going to be good content to see him running for office, but it's like it's bad for our country. They don't seem all that excited, to be honest with you.
Our country, we have to be smart. First, we have to defeat the climate crisis hoax. It's a hoax. It doesn't have the power. It doesn't have the power to generate and move our factories. It doesn't have the power. And I predicted, because this gentleman has this beautiful sign, Trump was right. Let me tell you, I predicted Germany 3 years ago.
You guys gonna eat more of that fruit?
Our country, we have to be smart. First, we have to defeat the climate crisis.
Got any more of that fruit, guys?
It can never go wrong. It took them about 10 years to get that right. Remember, they came up with all the different things. They used to say, you know, in the 1920s, they were worried about global freezing. They thought the world was going to freeze. Now it's global warming, but now it's climate change, because you can't miss with climate change. Anything can happen. It's raining like hell. Climate change. We got it this way.
Oh my God. We'll not hear him listen, or we'll not listen to him misgendering trans people. Fuck that. Instead, let's listen to some of the young people that attended the TPUSA event and what they think about who should be the GOP nominee for president. Major speakers at the event included Governor Ron DeSantis and former President Donald Trump. So here we're going to get our man on the street
Trump,
here.
Of course, the man himself. He created the MAGA movement, and he deserves to be our leader. Look, he's not perfect in every way, but he really deserves to be our leader. He really shook the swamp, and no one else in the current Republican Party can do that the way he did.
I love DeSantis, but Trump is a little bit more, going to push it. Not that DeSantis won't, but I think he needs to come in and fix the mess that's been made.
I would really like it to be Governor DeSantis. I'm a pretty big fan of him. I like what he's done with Florida, how we've been pretty open here during the pandemic, and just a lot of, focusing on families has been a big thing. That's something I'm passionate about.
Yeah, I think we've had enough time without Trump now to realize that we do really miss him. Even the liberals are kind of like, we miss him. So I think it's time that we let him come back and kind of clean up the mess.
What?
Maybe DeSantis after that as president would be pretty cool.
I would honestly like to see Donald Trump, but I feel like it could be hard since I know he's seen as very problematic in America. But I do think he can save America and help fix a lot of the issues that are going on right now.
I would love to see Tim Scott make a run for it. I think he represents the party really well, brings a new voice and a new kind of vibe to the new energy.
True for you too!
Honestly, I would love to see President Trump re-enter the election again because I think he just did something that no other president could have done for the conservative movement in the state that we're in right now.
I think the best presidential nominee would be Donald Trump. I love guys like Ron DeSantis as well, but Donald.
He's got a hat on that says Ultra MAGA. All Biden did with that Ultra MAGA phrasing was give grifters something else to sell to these dumb fucks that have way too much money and time on their hands.
Trump he's proven he knows how to run the country, especially comparing him to the guy running it now. He's done it before, and I think he can do it again.
Ooh, it's a tough question. I go back and forth between Trump and DeSantis.
It's a tie between Trump and DeSantis. Maybe both. Maybe Trump, DeSantis.
So there you have it. Clearly, there are front runners in the Republican Party. There are two names that keep popping up over and over and over again. Tommy Lauren was on Fox News, and she was talking about how a New York Times columnist apologized for bashing Trump voters. I don't know what the New York Times columnist said. Let's see. Is that Kennedy she's talking to? Kennedy and Tommy Lauren talking about this New York Times columnist who apparently apologized for bashing Trump voters.
On both sides in the 2016 election, there were a lot of Republicans who looked down their nose at Trump supporters just the same way those on the left, the Democrats and the leftists did. I was there as an early Trump supporter, and I remember a lot of never Trumpers, those with an R behind their name, those were conservative that said, if you support Donald Trump, you're not with us either. You're not a conservative. You're just one of those Trumpers. You're just a Trump supporter. And then, of course, Donald Trump won the election, and a lot of those folks came around, and then they kind of forgot that they were the never Trumpers to start with. And then we had a wonderful moment. We all came together in a wonderful, successful country, and it was awesome. And we built a huge movement that I believe is now bigger than Donald Trump, the person. It's about the movement. It's the America First movement. Those people are still very much around, and we're ready to come back in 2024 because we keep.
Okay, first of all, let's find out what they're talking about here, because they're not actually. They didn't go into the opinion article. It was Brett Stevens. I don't even know who Brett Stevens is. I was wrong about Trump voters. Let's see exactly what he says about Trump voters. Who is Brett Stevens anyway? Pulitzer Prize winning American conservative journalist. Conservative. Why are you making a big deal about a conservative saying he was wrong about conservative voters? Me cakes! I was wrong about Trump voters, he says. The worst line I ever wrote as a pundit. Yes, I know, it's a crowded field. was the first line I ever wrote about the man who would become the 45th president. If by now you don't find Donald Trump appalling, you're appalling. Sir, why would you take that back? That's probably the truest thing you've ever said in your career. This opening salvo from August of 2015 was the first in what would become dozens of columns denouncing Trump as a unique threat to American life, democratic ideals, and the world itself. I regret almost nothing of what I said about the man and his close minions, but the broad swipe at his voters caricatured them and blinkered me. It also probably did more to help than hinder Trump's candidacy. Telling voters they are moral ignoramuses is a bad way of getting them to change their minds. What were they seeing that I wasn't? They ought to have been the first question that I asked myself. When I looked at Trump, I saw a bigoted blowhard making one ignorant argument after another. You're correct. What Trump supporters saw was a candidate whose entire being was a proudly raised middle finger at a self-satisfied elite that had produced a failing status quo. Oh! Somebody hurt their fucking feelings is what you're saying. Somebody hurt their fucking feelings. And that's what Tommy Lahren is talking about.
Getting run over. And now we're looking and saying, look at what our guy, you made fun of us. Our guy did wonderful things for this country. Look what your guy's doing to our country. And what really bothers me as someone that comes from a small state in South Dakota, we are often overlooked. We are those Trump supporters. We are those blue-collar ranchers, farmers out there who don't get a lot of attention except when there's a snowstorm or there's fireworks at 4th of July at Mount Rushmore. We don't get a lot of attention. So when people on the coast, when elitists in big cities look down their nose at us and call us rednecks and just Trump supporters, and Hillary Clinton calls us deplorables and they call us
She's sitting in New York City. I believe she lives in Nashville, if I'm not mistaken.
Without ever taking the time to talk to us, that really fired a lot of people up. And we feel that way now, and I'm so glad that Fox takes the time to go and talk to these people in the Midwest and the heartland. We are not just the flyover states. We matter and we vote. Might be from small states, but when you put us all together, we make a difference. And
you're idiots. You're all fucking idiots. And no, like, you are highly outnumbered. It's only because of the Electoral College and the way it's fractured that your votes are weighted more than other people's votes. Yes, she never mattered, and she's not a working class person. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene says GOP should be Christian Nationalist Party. I think we have the comments here.
Taylor Hansen here with Next News Network, and I am here with the one and only beautiful Marjorie Taylor Greene. Say hello to everyone, Marjorie.
Oh, hi, everyone.
Beautiful. That dude's trying to do some swinging with MTG later.
You live in sexual anarchy?
And I'm happy to be here with you, Taylor.
So I just have a few questions for you today. First off being, what do you think is the primary focus of the GOP going into 2022? What should it be opposed to what it is?
Oh, wow. That's a tough question because there's a lot of things that should be. I think Republicans really need to recognize the people they represent, okay, their voters, not the lobbyist donors, not the corporate PACs, not those people. That's not who the Republican Party should represent. We need to be the party of nationalism. And
I can tell you they have over 1 billion served. And this guy orally served at least half a billion of them.
I'm a Christian, and I say it proudly. We should be Christian nationalists. And when Republicans learn to represent most of the people that vote for them, then we will be the party that continues to grow without having to chase down certain identities or chase down, certain segments of people. We just need to represent Americans, and most Americans, no matter how they vote, really care about the same things. And I want to see Republicans actually do their job. That's
Absolutely.
What I want to see.
It'd be crazy, right? First time in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, we might continue to hold power.
Might have a heart attack. Woo.
Yeah.
So another question for you is, as a woman in Congress, how do you feel about having more balls than the majority of congressmen currently sitting on the seats right now?
This is a trick question. I'm a
really?
Person, and I don't really have any balls.
Hey, that is the politically correct answer.
I am a woman. I don't even know. You're cracking me up. I don't know. I want everyone else to do it too. They need to have courage and We just have to do the right thing.
What inspires?
I'm so glad we watched this. This has been great.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Yes. Yes, I do.
God inspires me. That's what inspires me the most. Is I just am a big believer. It doesn't make me perfect. I am not perfect, but I do believe that I have a job to do. I believe all of us have a job to do.
Nobody ever accused you of that, ma'am.
And do it the best we possibly can every single day. And I just don't have anything to fear.
And I know you've kind of been paying close attention. You've been very outspoken on the child drag shows that have been taking place all around the country, specifically in Texas.
Thank you, and thank you for the
Child drag shows? Are you talking about beauty pageants?
Really shining a light on this topic. What do you think, culturally wise, what does this reflect, in our culture? What does this say about where America is heading, and how do we fix it?
I think it shows a severe sickness. We have a sickness in America. We really do have a war of...
Get up, come on, get down with the sickness!
The fact that they're doing this to kids is... you don't even have words. And I know you've seen it firsthand. I see your videos. I've shared some of them. It's appalling and it's disgusting. But this is... If we don't stop...
What are you people doing to kids? Are you talking about like the Southern Baptist Convention, which spent years, decades covering up their pastors' sexual abuse and rape of children? Is that what you find appalling? Oh, it's the gay community you find appalling. It's not actually the rampant rape of children in the church. That's not something you focus on, is it? Because you don't actually care about children.
And that's why we have to unapologetically say no. And I think it should be illegal.
Hagfish.
Strip clubs, children should not be in drag queen shows, period. And drag queens do not belong.
Listen, I worked in a strip club. Some of the strippers would bring their children in. It's just like any other workplace environment. We were co-workers. Fuck, I think I bought some cookie dough off of one of their children one time. Fuck off. There's nothing wrong with it.
In schools, they should never be there. Neither should strippers. Schools should just be for kids learning, history, math, science, English, normal stuff. And
you ain't learned none of that shit.
Careful, it's a pretty controversial thing to say.
I know. How did we get here?
I don't know,
How
but I want to go back.
Me
yeah,
too.
I want to go back.
Well, if you find the time machine, let me know. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of us that would love to go back too.
One more question for you, the final one, is do you think we'll see accountability for the way that the January 6th committee, which is completely illegitimate, we've seen time and time again, they lie, they create false narratives. I mean, they won't talk to me. I witnessed one of the highest profile shootings in America, yet they will not have a conversation with me about it. Do you...
What? I have no clue who you are, dude. Nobody has a clue who you are. Just because your shirt says 1 billion served doesn't mean you're somebody of note. Why would the January 6th committee talk to you, and why would their not talking to you be evidence of fucking anything? That's your supporting evidence? And why are you holding the microphone like that?
Do you think there will be accountability, and if so, how and when?
There better be accountability. Yeah, there better be. Yes, I think there will be accountability.
Not high enough for this shit.
Severe. That this should never be allowed to happen, and they're abusing their congressional powers. They're abusing committee powers, and this is political persecution. And there's people that don't even have a voice. I mean, think about it. There's people in jail right now. No one hears from them. No one sees them. Their own family doesn't see them. There's children who haven't seen their dads for over 18 months. There's marriages that have been broken apart. People have lost their jobs.
So now we're prison abolitionists here.
The third one happened this week. It's awful. Yes, there needs to be accountability.
And then could you just give us a word for the Next News viewers? They absolutely love you.
Oh, well, thank you, everyone. And listen, keep following this guy. Keep following Next News. Because you're hearing the truth and seeing the truth. And that's way better than CNN or MSNBC or the New York Times.
I missed it where she said we need to be the party of nationalism, and I'm a Christian. I say it proudly. We should be Christian nationalists. Did I glaze over earlier on in the clip? I didn't hear that part. That was the whole reason we were talking about it. Because let me show you what Christian nationalists do. These are some Christian activists that went to PetSmart. And they caused a ruckus. Apparently this video has gone viral. This is Ethan Schmidt, a Christian activist who calls himself a hunter of LGBT people. He harasses an employee of PetSmart because they have an LGBT flag.
Hey, I'm just curious, what is that flag right there? That flag? What is that?
Flag? I think it's a pride flag.
Can you
the pride flag
right now?
For what purpose?
Because it offends me greatly.
Well, fuck you.
Yeah, that stuff is satanic. We can't have that, especially at PetSmart.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
I've got a manager.
Okay.
I'm offended. I'm offended.
Excuse me, what is that flag?
Oh, get your fucking ass out the store then.
No, PetSmart supports belonging, which includes for LGBT.
So you support pedophilia and child sexualization because that's what that stands for, man.
No, you stupid fuck.
That flag, man.
Well,
so I feel I'm very
sexualizing kids.
Taken down.
Well, we're gonna ask.
Respect your customers. Respect your customers and please take it down for me.
We aren't going to. We are supportive of LGBTQ plus people here, so we're gonna have to ask you to leave.
So, see ya.
That's the rainbow of Satan. The real rainbow is from God.
The rainbow Satan. That sounds badass. Rainbow Satan. Somebody make a band called Rainbow Satan.
The rainbow of Satan. So it's very offensive to me.
Very good. Thank you for coming by and sharing that with us. But we'll.
Nobody gives a shit that you're offended.
I do support it. Yes.
You support sexualization of the children?
The LGBTQ.
You know what they're doing to the kids, right? They're
We're asking you to leave.
They're trying to.
So you're breaking the law now because we've asked you to leave and you aren't.
They're sexualizing kids with that propaganda. It's disgusting.
Call the cops on them. Bye, Kyle.
We're asking you to leave.
Wow, Petco sexualizes kids. They support the sexualization of kids. Wow.
Look at that mustache. Rainbow Satan, that's Ghost. Okay, fair enough.
You gotta go, bud. Come on. We don't need it here. And you don't need to film me either. It's cool, but we don't need it. I mean, you want to stand outside, that's cool, but we don't need it. And
Okay.
yeah, we're gonna have the pride flag up. We have it all over our store.
Okay. So you guys support the sexualization of kids?
I'm just not gonna get into it.
You guys support sexualizing kids?
You could go. You can go. I can call
Get
them.
the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out.
That's cool. Thank you. I
Shame on Petco.
I appreciate it. This is Petco.
Shame
Call
on
the
you.
police.
Shame on you guys. Seriously.
Okay, that's
Shame
cool.
on you.
Thank you. I
Shame on
appreciate it.
Petco.
I appreciate it. This is PetSmart.
Christ wins.
Not Petco.
Christ wins. Christ wins.
This is PetSmart, not Petco. Learn your pet stores, bitch. Devil worshippers. That's the kind of Christian nationalism we're talking about. But now I always thought Dennis Prager and his PragerU outfit were Christian nationalists. Apparently PragerU is not Christian. Dennis Prager himself is not Christian. So this is something. Why isn't Dennis Prager a Christian? Rainbow Satan is for the children. I should have saved that sign. It was like it was a very upscale restaurant. It had a sign outside that said it's Wednesday night and some patrons may be offended by our Wu-Tang Wednesday playlist. Unless you subscribe to the philosophy of Old Dirty Bastard and then you believe that Wu-Tang is for the kids. It was like a really fucking nice sign too. It cracked me up. Wu-Tang is for the children.
I was on Michael Shermer's podcast.
Right.
And he asked me a very interesting question that I want to ask you.
Uh-huh.
He said to me, so you're religious? I said, yes, I'm religious. He said, okay, well, here's a question for you. Why are you Jewish and not Christian?
Oh, I get that every day.
I get that.
Oh, Prager is Jewish.
There hasn't been a time in my life. We were just talking right before we got on about how Christians often say, you know, I think you're the most prayed for man in America, and I think it's true because of the many wonderful Christians who pray that I receive Christ. And I don't take that, by the way, I just want to make it clear. I'm not only not offended, I'm actually touched by it. These people really do love me, and I love them. Look, that's a whole fascinating discussion. I have that every year. I have Ask a Jew, Ask a Gentile with a prominent Christian thinker, and the issue, of course, comes up. I believe that Revelation, as such, ended with the Old Testament. And now, so of course, a Christian will say, yes, that's fine. And Jesus was foreshadowed in the Old Testament. So it's a matter of faith. My biggest issue is I don't believe that anybody could die for my sins. I mean, I have that issue. I have the issue of the divinity of Jesus. I don't have the issue with the messianic claims. By the way, I always explain to Christians.
Interesting.
The Jews' problem was not that there were Jews who believed that Jesus was the Messiah. That never would have made the Jewish-Christian separation. The Jewish-Christian separation was over claims that he was God. And that went to the heart of Jewish theology. But of course, it's a triune God for the Christian, and I do believe Christians are monotheists, even with a triune God. But look, my view is that Christians true to their faith are doing God's work. That's what I believe. And as Maimonides, who was
Rainbow Satan is so much cooler than whatever this fuck is talking about.
No fan of Christianity or Islam because he was persecuted by both. The greatest Jewish thinker, many think. He said it's Christians who brought the world to the Torah more than Jews did. And I never forget that. That's a fact. The reason people know the word Genesis or Leviticus or Deuteronomy is because of Christians. In fact, I'm very sad about
okay, I get what he's saying.
Getting as closed in their world as they did. God didn't choose the Jews to hide. God chose the Jews to spread his word.
God ain't choose the Jews to do shit. God ain't real.
But it's interesting that Michael Shermer, who's an atheist.
But maybe if there is a God, he will spare us the tragedy of having to see Biden run again in 2024, since we are still on
Biden dies of COVID watch.
Cancel Justin for what now?
Would have asked you that question. So I will tell you a question I asked Michael Shermer, which I ask every atheist.
Oh, sassy. I'm sorry.
The answer to this question reveals to me whether I think the atheist.
Sky comment. We're gonna fucking skip it then. Fuck off. Let's go to music. This is your music news. I'm Kurt Loder, and this is MTV News. First, we go to Zuby, because we're still talking about Christian nationalism and shit. The anti-freedom woke are losing. This is according to Zuby and Amala Ekpunobi and Zuby, who go on Fox News here to talk to Laura Ingraham.
Amala, it seems to me that we are seeing a fundamental shift unfolding on who holds the cards, both in politics, but also the culture. Your response to the angle?
Oh, I absolutely agree with you. And I don't think this whole revolution and how things are changing is about being chic or passe, as that article wrote. I think it's about average American people looking at the state of this country right now, looking at the wokeness that is largely a factor in why we are living the way we're living, and going, you know what? I want to be comfortable. I want to have my individual freedom. I don't want to be reduced down to things like my race, my gender, my sexuality. And I certainly don't want that being taught to my kids. I want to run my my business. I want to be able to have the civil liberties that I once had in this country, and I want free speech. So it's just average, normal people being fed up with the wokeness that they're trying to shove down our throats. And
this woman is getting paid big bucks by PragerU, is on Fox News.
Everything that came along.
Bitching about not having free speech.
Also, obviously, the lectures that we're constantly getting from the left. Is that the tipping point? Or is it the purely economic nightmare that's unfolding for young people? The tipping.
Pick me white people.
I don't think the tipping point is primarily economic. I think for the past several years, we've slowly reached this time period where people who call themselves liberals, not just in the USA, but also in the UK and many other Anglo countries and Western countries, they're no longer liberal, right? There's nothing liberal about wanting to enforce face coverings on people. There's nothing liberal against going against free speech. There's nothing liberal about censoring and deplatforming people. Nothing liberal about vax mandates, about lockdowns, any of it. So I think if
you're okay, first of all, there is nothing liberal about deplatforming people. Those are corporations. Those are corporations who want to censor certain channels for their advertisers. It's about making money in a capitalist society that has nothing to do with wokeness. You're a fucking idiot. What's some of the other things he named off?
Liberal against going against free speech. There's nothing liberal.
Who is going against free speech, dude? I'm playing you on my show. I'm platforming you. By the way, hold on. Let's talk about free speech. I should be able to pull this up. Yeah, let's talk about free speech. Let's talk about free speech, Zuby. Zuby blocked me on Twitter for pointing out that Zuby had the guy that shot up Denver on his show. You platform violent extremists in order to promote your fucking music. You're full of it, you piece of shit.
About censoring and deplatforming people. Nothing liberal about vax mandates, about lockdowns, any of it. So I think if people are in support of that, I don't think we should even be referring to them as liberal, and they shouldn't be calling them.
What he's actually saying is there's nothing liberal about public health measures during a pandemic, and that's just not true at all.
That because that's not what the word means. It's supposed to be based in liberty.
Yeah, decades ago, Dinesh D'Souza wrote a best-selling book called Illiberal Education. It was way ahead of its time, but that's what you're speaking to, Zuby. We're seeing it as well, I think, with what's happening.
Now, ma'am, you should disclose that Dinesh D'Souza's dick has been inside of you as you plug his book.
You live in sexual anarchy?
Of course, they all do it. They all do it, Sky Comet. But I just want. Apparently, Laura and Dinesh are still on good terms.
Happening with the Twitter takeover. Brian Stelter over at CNN, Amla, is very worried with this whole Musk situation. Watch.
I don't think.
Yes, that's true.
Public statements. It's clear.
Sassy. Apparently, Dinesh gets around. He has also been involved with Ann Coulter. He had a thing with Ann Coulter. He had a thing with Laura Ingraham. Oh, gross indeed.
He has a very little understanding of the complexities that go into content moderation and hate speech policies and the like. So he's about to learn how it works, and it might be a whole lot more complicated than he realizes.
Amala, what are they really worried about here?
Oh, well, they're really worried about losing their ability to take a strong hold on the American mind and what you see and what you learn. And Twitter is a massive platform for this. A lot of people are using this social media platform to get their primary news sources and to learn about what the state of the world is. And so far, they've gotten a progressive, leftist...
That's probably a bad thing.
Are our world and our country. And they can't do that anymore if Elon takes the helm. And they're scared of it.
And he won't.
Say it out loud that they don't want you to have freedom of speech, but that's exactly what he's saying with those words.
And Zuby.
I didn't think that Elon Musk was going to show up on the show tonight, but I do have an Elon Musk story. Apparently, he had an affair with the wife of the dude from Google. I don't know why. Like, this stuck out. Clearly, I didn't have it on my list. I had to go look at it, but it was in my bank of stories. Elon Musk got down on one knee and begged Sergey Brin for forgiveness after sleeping with his wife Nicole during Art Basel in Miami. December fling prompted Google founder to file for divorce, but she still wants $1 billion. $1 billion.
You live in sexual anarchy?
Buddy, does Elon get around? I don't want to body shame. I could pull up that picture. Elon Musk got, and now this is from the Daily Mail. Elon Musk got down on one knee to beg Sergey Brin for his forgiveness at a party earlier this year after the Google founder learned of Musk's affair with his wife and filed for divorce. Elon the home wrecker. I'm sorry we got sidetracked by Elon, who used to be dating Grimes, because we were on music, so I want to tie it back into music. Rage Against the Machine's Tom Morello tackled by security at the band's Toronto concert. I thought somebody ran on the stage. Here's a fan-captured video of the ordeal. Knocked over by fan while playing Killing in the Name of. Wait. I didn't even see what happened to him. Oh, shit. The security guy was going for the fan, and the security guy knocked Tom Morello into the, that's the press pit. In front of the stage. Tom is okay.
Hey. Whoever the fuck gets wise like that, don't try what just happened? Do not try that shit.
What just happened? Zach is sitting. Was he sitting when he was singing? Killing in the Name of just doesn't seem like a song you would sing sitting down. He is indeed sitting. That's interesting. I really pre-pandemic, when Rage Against the Machine announced that they were going to be playing some shows, I did indeed I gotta go see Rage Against the Machine. Then the pandemic happened, just like I would still like to see Rage Against the Machine sometime in my life. They're one of the bands on my list. What's up, Socrates? Just standing at the door, he decided he didn't want to come in. Now moving over to North Dakota. Oh, did he hurt his leg? That might have been why he was sitting. Okay, sorry, Zach De La Rocha. If he hurt his leg during a show. You know, now that you say that, I think I did see that. Curiouser. Thank you. So that might indeed be why he was sitting. So sorry, Zach. My apologies. Audience trashes venue after concert. After a Kidrock concert was canceled. Kidrock canceled his concert Friday night in North Dakota due to bad weather, triggering an angry backlash from fans who trashed the venue. Kidrock was supposed to take the stage at around 9:30 p.m. at the North Dakota State Fair, following a 2.5-hour performance by his opening act, Night Ranger. Night Ranger, they're the ones that did Sister Christian, right? Sister Christian, now your time has come. Yes, Sister Christian. I don't know any of their other songs. Oh, fuck. We're told the storm was brewing on the outskirts of town and some wind and lightning, but no rain, which kept delaying Kidrock's show. By the time 11 o'clock rolled around, lots of folks in the $18,000 strong audience were pretty drunk and pissed because it seemed as if the storm had passed. An officer from the Ward County Sheriff's Department then walked up to the mic and announced the concert was canceled. And here is the chaos that ensued. No, not hashtag ban concerts. You're too ban happy. We like freedom over here, Warlord. You damn Brits. You're woke moralists trying to cancel everything.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
Still is gaudy looking eagle. Still is gaudy looking eagle. This is not a riot. A riot would have been nice. These people don't know how to riot. I thought this was America. At the North Dakota State Fair. That's where they were getting ready to see Kidrock. Take them to jail. They deserve to go to jail. Only Antifa knows how to riot. I mean, look at January 6th. Ban Kidrock. Now there's a ban I can get with, Merkin. So there you go. That's your I'm Kurt Loder. That's your MTV News Report. Whatever the fuck you used to say. And now I'm going to present to you the world's deadliest cat. Don't ban muffins. No Sky Comet. See the world's deadliest cat. Ban ogres. Ban ogres. I don't know. I might have to, virtual wrong. I'm so sorry. You got here right at the ass end. But we're currently looking at the world's deadliest animal. Its kill percentage is over 60%. Or I'm sorry, the world's deadliest cat. My apologies. I oversold him. The world's deadliest cat. You're certainly not the world's deadliest cat. I'm just gonna point that out, Socks. You're kind of fat. You're out of shape. What kind of cat was this? It said at the beginning, didn't it? The black-footed cat. This is the black-footed cat. Highest hit rate of any wild cat. Look how fucking cute it is. His little fucking jaws. It's chowing down on that fucking bird. Look, I mean, that is absolutely fucking adorable. If I died cuddling that, like, hey, I died happy. Look at that baby. Mr. Meow Meow. Sand cats are adorable. Alright, if you're watching on Twitch, I am going to send you over to, let's go Goat versus Fish. He's playing guitar. I made the right decision. Hell yeah, Goat versus Fish. He'll probably please stick around. Go watch his channel. He'll probably sing a song about Justin Freakin. He's got his guitar out and he'll probably be like, Justin Freakin with the rage, Justin Freak, yes. Tones. I love Goat versus Fish. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol live.